Well, BCS honks, your system has jacked it all up once again. Only this time, I am not sweating it. In fact, I am pumped. Pumped because this is just the sort of train wreck we're going to need to get a +1 format. Ohio State and LSU are not the two best teams in America. They're the two least undeserving teams. So in that sense, I guess they got it right. So everybody else needs to stop crying. Hey, Georgia, not only did you not even play in your conference title game, you didn't even win your own division. Beat it. Tech, you lost to LSU by 6 touchdowns. You're done. USC, I don't care how well you think you're playing. Stanford did you in your house. Go away. Oklahoma, your coach likes the current system and is against the playoff. Be quiet. Hawaii, you're Hawaii. Aloha. Just don't confuse most deserving teams with best teams, because the two best teams are probably USC and Georgia. Georgia has one of the two best teams and the single worst argument by a coach this year.
I think everybody said, hey, Georgia's out because they didn't win the conference and didn't really give us a fair comparison. Do I think we'd have made it otherwise? I don't know, but I certainly felt like we got disqualified by a rule that didn't even exist.
What? Hey, Coach, they don't make rules where common sense applies. They don't have to. You know something else? If you don't eat, you will starve. If you don't breathe, you will die. Do you need rules for those things too? Stop crying about something that you do not deserve and start worrying about your Sugar Bowl matchup with Hawaii, because no matter how much you win that game by, it's still not going to be nearly enough. And if you lose, it will stick to you, your program, and the conference forever. It's the ultimate lose-lose proposition. Have fun with that. And if you do beat that team from the WAC, just make sure that your guys step off the Warrior logo, something that you couldn't do when you beat Vandy earlier this year.
Lone setback, Leon Washington, 3 wide receivers. Kellen Clemens takes the snap, handoff Washington, running wide left, turns a corner at the 15, gets to the 5, and he's run out at about the 1-yard line. No, he's in! He snuck inside the pylon for a Jet touchdown.
You know he did. And finally, what an absolutely clutch performance by the Dolphins Sunday. Look, I'm not going to lie. That game against the Jets terrified me. Look, I'll just say it. I thought they were going to win. Look, you don't get to the NFL without having some pride, and there's no way that a room full of guys pulling NFL paychecks is going to want biggest losers ever as their legacy. They had a bad Jets team coming into their house, and they were red hot coming off that 3-0 loss to Pittsburgh in the mud. The writing was on the wall. I was going to get my heart ripped out all over again. My lifelong dream of seeing an NFL team run the table in reverse was going up in flames. But obviously, I was not giving my guys nearly enough credit, because they did what all the truly horrible ones do. They found a way to play their worst game of the season against their worst opponent, and they ended up getting hammered 40-13. Not only was that the biggest game of the year in the NFL, that was probably one of the biggest moments of my entire life, right alongside my wedding day and the birth of my 2 children. I mean, to have such a dangerous game, an imminently winnable game at home against a terrible Jets team, and then just to no-show and get jacked up like that, it was beautiful. That's the sort of no heart, no pride, no effort laydown that it's going to require for you fellas to finish this thing. And what a great time for quarterback John Beck to remember that he's John Beck. Just when his teammates were starting to believe in him, rally around him, he shows up with a huge 5-turnover game. Good job, John. Stay weak. My hat's off to every member of that team, coaching staff, and organization for being part of that 27-point beatdown to a miserable Jets team. I would personally like to thank each and every one of you for mailing it in. Remember, when the going gets tough, quit. 12 down, 4 to go, fellas. Man down, you can do this thing. All right, I want to thank Trent Edwards and my forum guests. Thank you for tuning in. Around the Horn is coming up next. I will see you next time. I am out.